Commencing awesomeness in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so this is going to be a podcast in regards to the book Crank by Ellen Hopkins.
Actually, the first 3 books. 2.
Yeah. It's along the plot line of the series, and we're just sitting here. It's Jason, Bomboy, and Alex Watts. We're eating ramen. Having a good old time. And first thing we're going to do is review the story's plot. And it starts off with this girl named Christina, and she's pretty cool.
Yeah.
She's a pretty normal person, you know.
And then she goes to live with her dad for a while.
And then she does crack and has babies.
400 babies!
No, but in seriousness, she meets a guy named Adam.
Yeah.
And he sort of gives her...
He kind of sucks, so...
Yeah, he gives her the drugs, and she sort of, spiral. It's a... Woo!
She starts tweaking all the time. All right?
Tweaking?
Tweaking.
What's that?
It's a term when people do drugs and they freak out. So, she starts getting into drugs, and she meets other guys, and one guy rapes her. Okay.
Yeah, rapes.
And then he gets her pregnant.
She was clearly screaming during that, and there was no surprise that I heard of.
There wasn't. She didn't even scream surprise. So.
No, that was definitely considered statutory rape.
Yeah, and so that got her pregnant, and she ended up having the baby while she was doing crystal meth. So
yeah, she's. Don't they teach that in school?
They
don't
should
do crystal meth while having a baby.
They should teach that in school, and yeah. So that happens,
and then when she quits for a little bit, she goes back to live with her mother and her stepdad, with the baby, because she needed help, because
she was kind of a meth head.
Yeah, and she was recovering for a while until she did it again. Yeah. She
ended up meeting a bunch of other dudes and, doing drugs with them, as she does with everybody, because, drugs. But, so...
And then that happens, which was a good, bad thing.
It was a good old time.
Good old time?
No,
Who
actually.
said that?
It's not a very good time.
No,
so,
let's hope not.
So, yeah. She ends up doing that, and what happens next? She moves into another house because her mom kicks her out.
Yeah,
because she won't recover.
Oh, yeah, her mom found out she was doing drugs again, and she was like,
ain't nobody got time for that.
Mm-hmm. And she kept the baby and threw her out. And she ended up living by herself until she found this other dude.
What was his name?
It was like Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
Yeah. No, Brad was the dude that owned the house.
But her boyfriend lived with Brad
in
the house.
In this house.
And she lives there for quite a while, actually.
A lot of it has to do with the fact that it's winter, and it sucks where they live in winter. And her car got crashed, so...
Yeah.
She's kind of stuck there, regardless. And her boyfriend's going to college, so she doesn't really have a ride out of there.
Doesn't she get the baby back at that point?
No, well, she tries to get the baby back because they try to move into an apartment somewhere else with her boyfriend, but they end up not having enough money, so they end up trying to resort to selling drugs, which doesn't turn out so well.
Mm-mm. She gets in with the mafia because she wanted it. And then she owed them lots of money, and they came after her. Pretty bad. Yeah, don't get in with the mafia, kids.
Hey, moral of the story, don't do drugs. Well, unless you really want to. And then just don't. I'm kidding. That's bad. Just don't do drugs.
Yeah. That was basically the first 2 books.
Oh, well, we forgot about the part at the end where she ends up stealing checks and
jewelry from
her mother. And her mother catches her and calls the cops, and the cops find her. And at the end of the second book, she's in jail because she got caught for trafficking drugs and also stealing checks and jewelry.
I don't know what she was thinking. Who steals checks?
Just cash, All right. So another thing we need to do is review the book.
As
So-
critics.
What would you think of the book, Alex?
Well, the first book I thought wasn't too bad. I enjoyed that one. Except the writing was a little weird because it's all in poem. Every page is like a poem, and it has different writing. It's weird.
I'm gonna have to agree with you there. I found the first book to be a lot better than the second book, though.
The second book, the first book was like you experience the whole drug thing, and then the second book was just more
Just
of
talking
that.
about it.
Yeah, and now it was like, oh, well, you know,
It wasn't needed.
no, the baby thing was like, oh, that's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you felt bad for her because she was
Because
raped.
in the first book ends like she's clean, she's off drugs, and the second book is like drugs, you know,
Mafia.
mafia and drugs, and
Yeah.
drug mafia, and babies,
400 babies!
and yeah, well, that's the book in a nutshell. So
What else do we have on this?
on this, what are we gonna do on the podcast? Well, so far on our list says review the story's plot, make funny comments, talk about the book, eat ramen noodles, review a book as critics, watch a movie, grow a beard, eat a baby, stare blankly at the computer, eat ice cream with a shovel, and cry until we sleep. So I think we covered all of that.
Not yet. We didn't stare blankly at the computer.
All right, let's do
Commence
that.
the awkward silence in
Let's do
3,
that.
2, 1. Oh, okay, we're done.
All right. So-
Grow a beard. That might take a bit. It's getting there.
Beard. Okay, it popped out. We're good.
Okay.
Beard.
Yeah, I see that. It's a bit.
Yeah.
It's unruly. See that? Vocab.
Oh, vocab. Hey, Mrs. Trick. That means we should get more points. Okay.
Unruly. It's a trivial matter.
Oh, oh,
Whoa.
oh,
Oh.
oh,
Oh.
oh, man.
See this?
This is knee slapping good. Yeah. Okay.
That's another
Well,
word. That's another one.
well, there's a couple of them, and they're very important. So.
That's 120 words we did, not including this week.
All right, so that's where I think we're gonna end the podcast.
Pretty
And-
good. Yeah.
That was Crank by Ellen Hopkins. I'm gonna give it like 3.5 stars.
Oh, I give the first one 4 and the second one 3.
All right, and that concludes this podcast. Stay classy, San Diego.